Hello students, today I will discuss with you on commercial banks. Uh, banks are uh, banks plays very important role in Indian economy because banks generally take fund from individual and charge interest and give loan to other individuals who need it. So here in this slide we will discuss only on banks, that is commercial banks. Before going to commercial banks, before going to detailed discussion on commercial bank, I want to say you the the background of the commercial banks, or uh, what are the other types of financial intermediaries. Actually, commercial banks is itself a financial intermediaries, but in India there are four types of financial intermediaries. One is commercial bank, obviously, and another is non-banking financial institutions, another is mutual fund, and another is insurance organizations. Uh, commercial banks is a small part in the overall financial institutions. Obviously, we can say that its share is very large in the total financial intermediary system, but still it is a small part in the total financial intermediary system. I will made a separate video on non-banking financial companies as well as on mutual funds. But here I am only discussing on banks, and also there are there are fourth financial intermediaries, that is insurance organization. Insurance organizations, by insurance organizations we mean LIC, GIC. LIC, GIC also takes funds from the market or from individual, and they also channelize funds to others. So I will make separate videos on those topics. Here I am discussing on commercial banks only. Commercial banks also channelize funds in channelize saving into investment, and but they generally provide short-term loan, not long-term loan. I have made a separate video on short-term loan, long-term loan, or more specifically, I want to say you, I have made a separate video on money market and capital market. So in the capital market, I have made a detailed discussion on this short term and long term loan. So if we say short term loan, then specifically we are considering the money market. So here all these commercial banks provide short term loan only. For long term loan, who need it, they generally go to capital market. So if we say commercial banks, if we want to say about commercial banks, then commercial banks sell only short term loans. Also, various individuals go to banks and save their money because these banks are safe and secure, very much secure. We generally go to bank and open a saving account or current account because the banks are safe, and also banks give us various rate of interest on our saved money. Now I am saying you the role, I am discussing with you the role of commercial bank. What are the roles the commercial banks play in Indian economy? Obviously, commercial banks plays various types of roles. For example, if we consider the agriculture sector in Indian economy is largely occupied by the agriculture sector, because in India still very large portion of people are involved in the agricultural sector, and also um, huge number of populations are involved in agricultural sector. So these sectors need fund for their functioning, and commercial banks obviously provide fund to this sector, uh, that is agricultural sector. So this is a big role of the commercial banks, and it also invest in the capital market. I have already said that I have made a separate video on capital market. You can watch that video. So these banks also invest money in the capital into the capital market. Capital market actually provide long-term loan to various institutions who need it. So here I am saying you that these commercial banks generally provide short-term loans, and also these banks invest in the capital market. Okay, these banks also invest in the retail finance, that is housing finance, and it is also act as a term lending institution, that is it lends money to other. Uh, 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 there are also some classifications of commercial banks. One classification is from one side we can there are or simply I can say you that there are two types of commercial banks. One is scheduled commercial banks and another is non-scheduled commercial bank. By scheduled commercial bank, I am saying you that SBI, PNB, Indian Bank, all these banks are scheduled commercial banks. Also, there are private banks like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank. These are scheduled commercial banks. By scheduled commercial banks, we mean those banks which are regulated by the 1949 Banking Regulation Act. Uh, these banks, under this law, there is a there this when a bank is under this law, then those particular that particular bank will have to maintain if maintain the guideline of RBI. That is RBI. You know very well that there are some guideline of RBI on CRR, SLR, repo rate, reverse repo rate. So all those banks which are under the Banking Regulation Act, they will have to maintain strict guidelines of RBI on various monetary issues. For example, we can take that SBI. For example, we can say that SBI have to maintain the RBI guideline on CRR, SLR, repo rate, reverse repo, and also there are other types of bank, that is non-scheduled bank. Non-scheduled banks are not under direct control of RBI. By non-scheduled commercial, there are some non-scheduled commercial bank exist in India. Like I have mentioned here one example, Akhand Anand Cooperative Bank. These banks are non-scheduled commercial banks. These banks will not have to maintain any strict guidelines of RBI. That is, they will not have to maintain CRR, SLR, repo rate, reverse repo, and these banks also cannot take loan from RBI directly, as they are not in the Banking Regulation Act 1949. But all the scheduled commercial banks can take loan from RBI because they are under the Banking Regulation Act. But uh, this this is different from a non-scheduled bank. Non-scheduled bank generally cannot take money from the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, I am ending this video here. Thank you for watching.